Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello, good morning everyone.
Hello, morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, and it's an honor for me to have the opportunity to speak in front of all of you. Alright, let me introduce myself please. My name is Jalu Herlambang. The people who know me usually call me Jalu. I'm 22 years old. I live at a village in QIEEI Agency which borders Lamongan and East Java. After graduating from elementary school, I have rarely been at home. Since studying in the elementary school, I have had hobby of selling and looking for my own extra pocket money. I just graduated from college with degree straight one in mathematics. A few months after graduating from college, I haven't been very intense in finding the job because my focus has been divided in running the clothing business on an online platform. I'm very interested in the world of financial markets and in studying the latest technologies such as artificial intelligence. Well, everyone, as a student in the field of natural sciences mathematics, I mostly rely on critical analytical thinking when I'm studying or facing everyday problems. I rarely engage in heavy physical activities, so it can be said that as a man I'm less robust and less energetic. In addition, I often feel scared and disgusted when I must have physical contact with certain types of animals, even though the animals are very commonly encountered in daily life. At the time, the very free life in the world of college made me feel very far from God, and Salat that should have been obligatory carried out was often left out with a sense of guiltlessness. Before joining this program, I had already ever took an English courses when I studied in the elementary school. But that was quite a long time ago, and the materials of it was still very basic. Studying English in the formal education at school through college, in my opinion, is not effective because I do not feel that my English skills improve. I still struggle with structuring sentences in English, and I'm still not fluent and feel embarrassed to speak or communicate orally in English. Even when I had the opportunity to go to Taiwan studying there for almost a semester, my English speaking skills were very limited. And when giving presentation in front of the class, I could only read the English text on PowerPoint or slides without being able to elaborate the sentences. I knew about this program from my father. A few months after graduating from college, I said to my father that I would go for taking an English course with my friend because I wanted to have the skill to be able to speak English fluently in order to get a good job opportunities, to work or to continue my postgraduate studies overseas. Then my father suggested that if I should take an English course, I should follow it at Lamongan. The educational institute of it is called Quanta Indonesia, he said. At first, I was hesitant because I felt that a 6-month process of study was too long. I wanted to have a short course only and to start looking for a job immediately. But on the other hand, I'm very interested and curious about the learning method and wisdom in Quanta, which claims that its learning method involves the subconscious mind. In that moment of confusion, I was also faced with other inner conflicts such as romance, friendship, my business, and so on. So I think that maybe this is indeed the right moment to enter Quanta with the intention of seeking knowledge and wanting to improve myself to get closer to Allah. Ladies and gentlemen, the first 2 weeks in joining this program, I really felt dizzy and confused, thinking, how can I become proficient in speaking English just in this way? Just by reading books without anyone explaining it? The teachers in the class are kids who just graduated from elementary school, and there's no prepared material for teaching. Most of them just tell random stories about their daily lives. And Even we are not allowed to remember and must forget the materials taught. And there is also no practice speaking English outside the classroom. In the first 2 weeks, I also couldn't focus because my mind was still troubled by issues from outside of this program. At the time, there were no peers I could talk to. When I asked the seniors in this program, their answer was, "There's no need to ask. It will be answered by its own, without being explained." In the end, I just surrendered. I carried out my activities here and followed the rules of it, and I did not break them. I had started it with a good intention to learn, with conviction and sincerity. Alhamdulillah, after a month and a half of having been following this program, little by little I can speak English and feel confident speaking in it, without having worry about thinking or arranging the words before speaking. Learning that does not burden the brain because there's no need to memorize the materials learned by its students. And no need excessive practice makes this method suitable for everyone, regardless of how high or how low of their IQ or intelligence level. This knowledge is acquired without passing through the critical analytical mind. This is what makes the program of Quanta superior and sets it apart from other English learning methods. In fact, this program far exceeds formal English learning in schools because there are no assignments or homeworks. The English learned here is advanced English that opens up other knowledge specifically about religion, science, philosophy, etc. In addition, while I have been studying here, I also feel a sense of peace and comfort in my heart. The inner conflict that troubled my heart could resolve on its own. I'm no longer afraid by animals or disgusted by animals, and have done a lot of muscle training exercises. So I feel like a complete man. I have become more diligent in worshipping, and I feel that I'm fortified against committing sinful acts. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to study in this institute because I'm gaining comprehensive wisdom of life. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I can convey on this occasion. Thank you for your attention, and I greatly appreciate your time to take a moment to listen what I'm conveying. I apologize if there are any words or expressions that are inappropriate for you all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.